Hey guys, what's going on? Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video. And yes, of course, continuing on reviewing the Marvel films. And as I teased in the last review, this one, all about Romanoff. Yeah, you read the title. And this being one of the first MCU films for Phase 4. That's right. I'm, of course, reviewing none other than Black Widow. Yes. At long last, Black Widow got a movie of her own. And yeah, because I gotta say, it didn't disappoint for me. I mean, this film wasn't, awful or anything like that. It was okay, and from what I've heard, how people feel about Black Widow, yeah, so, okay, so read the description first, the story. Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, confronts the darker parts of her ledger, I hope I said that right, when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past, Arsis, I think I got that right too, pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Natasha must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. So, it first takes place in 1995 in Ohio. We see a young Natasha, and young Natasha was actually played by Ever Gapo Anderson. Yeah, I think I got that right. I got the name right. Which, yeah, Ever would go on to play Wendy in Peter Pan and Wendy, the live-action version of Peter Pan, Disney's Peter Pan, etc. Yeah, so before playing Wendy, she played young Natasha. Pretty cool. And this was also where we got the introduction of Natasha's sister, Yelena, and young Yelena being played by Violet McGraw. And we also, supposedly, their parents, Melena being played by Rachel Weisz, and Alexei, I think I got that right, yeah, Alexei, being played by David Harbour. Stranger Things, Hellboy, you name it. And good for him being in the MCU, both him and Rachel Weisz being in the MCU. Yeah, so it seems like they're a normal, perfect, happy family, but at some point when, Alexei, he, comes back home, dad's home and such, well, they at some point have to leave home, and it's kind of interesting, like, what's going on? Like, are they in trouble or something? And technically they are. They escape, and they meet up with the guy that they're apparently working for, and that being Dreykov, I think I got that right, yeah, Dreykov being played by Ray Winston, yeah, good old Ray Winston in the MCU, and, even believing at one point because, well, there was like an escape, in a plane, and even at one point, Melena, she got injured by, gunshots, and even thinking at first that she, didn't survive. That's what Natasha and Yelena think at first. And they basically get separated from their supposedly dad, And basically, Dreykov, takes in Natasha, and even say Natasha and Yelena, they got separated, and, during the opening credits, a montage of Natasha through the years and, being taken in and being, trained and so on and becoming a widow, basically. These group of girls that were taken and, trained to be these, fighters and so on, like what Natasha becomes, as we all know, Black Widow. And, 21 years later, yeah, And basically, 21 years later, this is like right after the events of Captain America Civil War. Natasha is on the run, trying to escape from Secretary Ross, General Ross, that is, played by the late William Hurt. Of course, Natasha, successfully, hiding and escaping whenever Ross is, on her tail. And also the mentionings of, say, what Natasha did to Black Panther, the whereabouts of Steve Rogers, a mention of Tony Stark, you name it. Again, taking place after Civil War. So yeah, those references. And we even see Yelena being played by Florence Pugh. Yeah, if I'm correct, this was Florence Pugh's debut in the MCU as Yelena. So, Yelena Belova. Yeah, I think I got the last name right. And basically, because, Yelena, of course, being taken in by Drakov, turns out that Yelena and a bunch of the girls that were taken in and became widows and, assassins and stuff like that, they're like hypnotized and so on, and the only way to break them free from that is like this like red gas and so on, which works on Yelena. And even Yelena, when that stuff was given to her, she delivered some of that, sent that to Natasha. And of course, Natasha coming in and a sister reunion. There's a bit of a fight between them at first, but and them trying to escape from Drakov and his, soldiers and so on, including basically this one villain that I'm trying to remember, like everybody was anxious to see appear on screen, and that is Taskmaster. And basically, like Taskmaster, like fighting and copying, like, well, basically copying the same, like, fighting movements like the Avengers, of course, including Natasha, like Taskmaster Unstoppable, basically. And, we also find out that at some point, Natasha, because Natasha was trying to go after Drakov for years, and she thought that she did kill Drakov, but also, like, went after his daughter and, supposedly, killed his daughter, when Natasha and Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, they placed a bomb and an explosion went off. Yeah, there are a couple of flashbacks in this, and, I actually checked the credits, like, on IMDb, all of it. If it was Jeremy Renner, like, him, like, voicing Clint, voice cameo, but he's apparently not listed. Was it Jeremy Renner? I'd like to know, because if we heard Clint's voice, it'd have to be Jeremy Renner, right? So, but anyways, and so, moments between Yelena and Natasha, and not to mention, throughout the film, at times, Yelena complaining about Natasha and her pose, like when she, jumps and, like, lands on the floor, like, that pose that she does, like, Yelena complaining about that. That's pretty funny. Yeah, like, Yelena, because she can have some pretty funny moments, like, good sense of humor. I guess even though, like, if she's not trying to be funny, or does she know? I don't know. But anyways. And basically, like, Natasha is determined to find the Red Room. And what is it about the Red Room? Like, what is this? Is it a Red Room? Like, is this some, like, secret place or whatever it is? I mean, we, of course, find out later on what the Red Room is. I think, because if anybody had thought of this and figured it out, like, basically that's, like, the main headquarters of, of Drakov, so. And Natasha and Yelena, like, breaking out Alexei from, from the prison that he's at. Alexei, he goes by the Red Guardian. He wishes that, he was, much better than Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Like he's jealous over Captain America and talking about Captain America and so on. Yeah, Alexei, he could be kind, yeah, because it shows that he's kind of an idiot, basically, kind of dumb. Um, and they break him out of prison, and pretty epic, sequence, like him escaping, and not to mention like an explosion goes off, like Yelna like fires a rocket missile, and actually, because the location of the prison that Alexei is at, like at a snowy place, and that there's an avalanche that happens. And about the action sequences, like they're pretty good, from the fights and the car chases. Lots of explosions happening. Pretty good, like for the MCU, like plenty of those. So yeah, father and daughters reuniting, although, doesn't go that well. And of course, they reunite with Melina, because, she has been training some pigs, like they obey her commands, basically. Even, she named a pig after Alexei, literally, because the pig's name is Alexei, and, ordering Alexei not to breathe, like, geez, letting the pig suffocate. Yeah, and basically a family reunion that happens, kind of awkward, and it doesn't go pretty well. And that's another thing, because, you realize that Alexei and Melina, they aren't really Natasha and Yelna's parents. In fact, according to Melina, Natasha's actual mother, tried to find her, but eventually Drakov killed Natasha's mother. And pretty sad, a moment between Melina and Natasha, and a moment between Alexei and Yelna, and Alexei just talking about, like, say, when trying to talk about a very serious thing, like about fishing and so on, and then at one point singing a song that was Yelna's favorite as a kid, that was played when they left their home. Which was, "This will be the day I die." That's a pretty good song, yeah. And apparently, because Drakov's army comes in and captures them, and yeah, I thought like this was for real, that Melina basically betrayed them, but we find out that, wait a second, well, that was a surprise. Melina actually didn't betray them. In fact, this was all Natasha and Melina's, like, idea. This was their plan, And so, yeah, we do see the Red Room, because it's like this floating station, I guess you could say, satellite and stuff like that, hovering in the sky. So, and Natasha coming face to face with Drakov, and Drakov basically, explaining to Natasha, with all the girls that he's captured, they're under his control, and, the widows, they're called the widows, beginning a war and ending a war, just, destroying the population and so on, stuff like that. And more with the Taskmaster, and we find out something about the Taskmaster that I didn't see coming. And remember, because, supposedly Natasha killed Drakov's daughter, Antonia? Well, turns out, who behind the mask of the Taskmaster, none other than Antonia herself, being played by Olga Kurilenko. Yeah, I think I got the full name right. Yeah, Antonia is the Taskmaster. And we also find out that, Antonia, Drakov's own daughter, is, under mind control as well by her own father. Like, gosh, what what an evil man he is. You know what I'm saying? Um, and well, even like say also another thing I almost forgot to mention, like with the explosion, like yeah, her part of her face was burned and damaged and so on, you know. And yeah, even say the widows that, you know, were that are under mind control, like them coming in and like, you know, taking on and beating up Natasha basically, and with Yelna, you know, freeing and curing all the girls, the widows, like, you know, they're no longer under mind control and such. And the Red Room basically, of course, does at one point, you know, does get destroyed because Yelna, you know, fires a trigger, and of course that causes, you know, the whole floating building, the Red Room that is, to explode and slowly but surely be destroyed, you know. And with Natasha, like, say, fighting off and, like, not wanting to hurt Antonia, you know, aka the Taskmaster, and Drakov, you know, trying to escape, and even say Yelna, like, you know, she, of course, she's the one that defeats Drakov, and a couple of times where Yelna, her funny moments, like saying, you know, this is a lot fun, a fun way to die, and, you know, less fun way to die and such, you know, and with her destroying the aircraft that Drakov is escaping in, like, you know, this was the best way to die, and so on. Yeah, of course, Drakov does get killed, you know, and I like that detail, like, as the explosion engulfs him, the last thing we see is his glasses, you know, that's a nice detail. And, yeah, of course, Alexei did at one point, you know, fought against the Taskmaster, and yeah, Alexei and Melina, they do escape, and, you know, Natasha saves her sister, and, you know, one last confrontation between Natasha and the Taskmaster, you know, Antonia. And yeah, Natasha does free and cure Antonia from, you know, the mind control and such with, you know, the red gas. I know it has a name to it, like there's a name for it, but I'm sorry, I can't remember, okay? You know, these kind of words. So yeah, Antonia is good, you know, and, you know, one last, like, reunion between Natasha, Yelna, and their, you know, parents, I guess you could say. Pretend parents, however you want to call it. And the widows, they actually come in and they, you know, they, you know, they recruit Yelna, Melina, and Alexei, as well as Antonia. And with Ross coming in, and yeah, Natasha, like holds them off, you know, and for them to escape, you know. And after all that, 2 weeks later, we see Natasha with the blonde hair, you know, the short blonde hair that we see in Infinity War. And yeah, I forgot to mention this guy, almost forgot to mention him, Mason, who throughout the film at times helps Natasha, you know, like, you know, get things for her and so on, and, you know, like, if, you know, needs a aircraft, you know, he gets her an aircraft, and yeah, we see at the end of the film that, yeah, he got a jet for Natasha, that the same jet that's used in Avengers Infinity War. Yeah, so, and another thing is, like, there was this thing that Natasha and Yelna, like, called the Fireflies, the Forest Stars. And yeah, like, that was an important thing in the film. And, like, even, say, Melina was talking about, you know, the Forest Stars, which were the Fireflies. And, you know, when Natasha leaves in the jet, you know, we see the Fireflies, as they call it, the Forest Stars. Yeah, so, and, yeah, and, like, the end credit scene, like, it wouldn't be the MCU without an end credit scene. You know, years later, and yeah, this is after the events of Infinity War and Endgame, and Yelena visiting her sister's grave. And at one point, we get the appearance of Valentina, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who we would see in The Falcon and Winter Soldier and Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Yeah, it's her. Yeah, she visits Yelena at Natasha's grave and tells Yelena, about going after the man who's responsible for her sister's death, which being Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, which, yeah, obviously, Clint had nothing to do with Natasha's death, so yeah. And of course, that being set up for the Hawkeye series. Yeah, so that was pretty good. Yeah. So, yeah, the Black Widow film, again, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, film in the MCU, I should say, but, as I said, people seem to have enjoyed this film. They thought it was okay, and I thought it was okay too. Again, I thought it was good. I really thought so. And I would like to point out, for Black Widow, this would be the last time that William Hurt would play General Ross, may he rest in peace. And as of now, this is the last time that Scarlett Johansson is playing Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. So, yeah. She did her duty. Yeah. She was good as Black Widow. So, yeah. Well done, Scarlett Johansson. Thank you for bringing us Natasha Romanoff / Black Widow, a great character in the MCU. And yeah, so how do I rate Black Widow? Good question. Well, yeah, it's on my mind. Why not? Because, as I said, that I thought this film was pretty good. I'm giving this, 8 out of 10 stars. And what about you guys? What did you think of Black Widow itself? What did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review a like as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Black Widow. More reviews coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And stay tuned because the next Marvel film I'm going to be reviewing, well, let's just say it's all about a superhero team, 4 members of a superhero team. You probably know what I'm talking about. Stay tuned for that. Take care, peace out, and Avengers, assemble.